Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin.
Yeah. Got
All
it.
right. It's extremely early on a
It's
hold on,
only
let me
extremely
switch my
early
view.
if you you're mountain and I'm central and Kyle is Pacific. So it's earliest for
Jackie,
him. That's why he's
yes.
wearing a hat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's most convenient for you. No surprise.
No surprise. Yes, we're constantly dancing to my tune on this podcast. Oh.
It's Sunday morning after Saturday where we both had 2 headlining club shows. So I didn't want to go to sleep
How
before
are
the morning.
you loving it? You're loving it, right?
I'm at the Denver Comedy Works South. It's incredible. I love it. The condo is amazing. Coffee
people
maker's
are
a little
the staff.
old.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yes, staff's. Here's the thing with the coffee maker is you make coffee and then you have to heat it for. It doesn't get hot. I don't know why the water doesn't get hot enough, or it doesn't stay hot, but it gets hot for a second and then immediately cools down. So you have to microwave it for like a minute. And
Okay, so they might need a new coffee maker, right? That's all.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I would never say that on my first time.
No,
You know
exactly.
that.
I can tell. Because
it's a
I'm staying in
workaround.
that same condo next week.
I know, Jackie. I'm leaving you butter and I'm leaving you cream. I'm leaving you vanilla soy cream. It's my favorite. It's quite a. Don't make that face. Try it first.
Okay, I'll try it. Here's my question: Are you sleeping in the hard bed or the soft bed? There's 2 beds.
I'm sleeping in the one
with the pool, with the bathtub or the one with the shower.
Yeah, with the bathtub.
Okay.
And it has it's a Tempur-Pedic, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I like
incredible.
I like what I think of as the features room. I like that bed better. So we won't be sleeping in the same bed.
How sad is it that you're instinctively drawn to the features room? That is just. If you can't train your brain to lead the headliner life, how are you going to have a great career?
It's so true.
Yeah, no, it's such a pretty view. There's like the Rocky Mountains are right before me. I've been sitting out on the balcony all week, just writing and stuff.
That's
so
awesome.
You know, when you go out to the left, there's that Early Bird Cafe.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 mornings in a row, I ordered toast and it was burnt to a crisp both times.
The Early Bird Cafe is not a great cafe.
I don't understand how any human could serve that to somebody. Like the first time I got it, I was like, what? And I go, hey, can I get just a little less, lightly toasted, right? So then she brings out, it's barely, maybe she passed it over the toaster. So it was not toasted. And then no
she
butter.
She just held it
like,
and said the word toast.
Yes, but then no butter. Like it was just plain bread. And I'm like, I don't want to I don't understand the brain that thinks this is acceptable. And I don't want to interact with it anymore. So I'll just eat straight bread that's lightly toasted.
And then the next day you go back.
Well, it was right around the corner. And I thought,
no, I did exactly the same thing. My sister and I went to breakfast at a place here in Minneapolis called Eggies. And and I ordered 2 eggs over medium. And they were almost burnt. And so
they send them my way when I love my eggs burnt.
Well, and so I said, can I just get 1 runny egg so that I can enjoy it over my gyro skillet? And and so she comes back with 2 eggs. So I ate 4 eggs that morning. The next morning, I go to breakfast with the same place with my friend Grove, and I'm like, it was actually really good except for the weird egg thing. And so I just order eggs, bacon, toast, and I'm like, over easy. And so they come and they're over so hard. And I'm like, what is happening with the egg situation here? And the service was actually quite there's a staffing issue. And guess who's completely on the side of the staff? This one, right?
Exactly. I know.
Like,
I still tipped really well. I still tipped 50%. Okay.
Yeah, right. You still tip really well because I love the fact that there's a bunch of people who realize that they don't have to have that shitty job and they've figured out a way to earn some other way of living where they don't have that, just shooting pain in their neck every time they think about going to work. So God love them, I say completely. And the people who are there are overworked. So
what we need to do is bring a laminated printout of what our eggs should look like. You know what I mean? Like almost a Denny's menu, and go, can you give me this exactly? Take this back to the chef.
Show them this. Do you know that
Yeah.
Andy made a spreadsheet of Chris's meds with
Oh
pictures
boy.
of every pill?
I love it. He's such a spreadsheet guy. Oh my
He's
God.
a spreadsheet guy. We've got her though. We got her. She's got two of the four main doctors. She's seen them at UCLA. She has the
Great.
best insurance. And
Great.
and
Is it
we
Medicare?
said
Or is it?
she has the good original Medicare. I guess Medicare Advanced is not as good. That's the
Oh,
Medicare we will get. Hi.
great.
If it's still there. And then
Right.
and then to her secondary insurance, because she worked for the state of California,
Yeah.
is an Anthem PPO. So
Oh, okay.
so
Good
like
for
I
her.
go to Kaiser, and Kaiser
Yeah.
is all one thing, and I like that, so
Right.
that all the
Right.
doctors could see everything that's happened. But UCLA and Cedar-Sinai and USC, if you know whatever, and we went with UCLA because that's where Andy went to college. Anyway, but the we go in,
The
we went with
building
her.
at the Ronald Reagan building.
No, we went to the Encino one
No.
because it's closer.
Okay.
So, but we
Oh,
go
yeah.
in, we meet her primary care physician, and the difference was palpable immediately between UCLA and Kaiser. And it was beautiful. And she needs better care than I do, but I do admit to a certain amount of chills. So
I also go to UCLA, or I get, through the Writers Guild, like when,
Right,
surgery wise and
right.
stuff like that. It's really nice. If I hope I get another job. I don't want to lose my Writers Guild coverage. It's fucking Jack.
Right.
You see my insides, as I said in my album, of an old man. Okay. So I need my good coverage. But she's
really do.
obviously she's bounced back from COVID. That's amazing.
Yes. Yes. It's
Does she have any lingering like taste and smell
no.
and all that kind of
And
stuff?
I'm a
loss, or-
jackass, so I'm like, I bet she just had a really bad cold and a false positive. But I
Wow.
don't know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, because it was one of the swab tests, and it was positive. Andy also had a swab test that was positive once, but he didn't have any symptoms. And
Hmm.
I've never had a positive swab test or anything.
Yeah,
And
me neither.
no one's wearing masks here, by the way. There were literally last night there were 150 people. Granted, the numbers are still down. Like they're not filling the room like
Mhm.
Tom
Before
Segura.
COVID.
But before COVID. It's I don't know if that's. I mean, I'm not. It's not that I'm not taking it personally because I worry. But I had some drama. How was your week?
Well, first of all, I'll hear about your drama in a sec. But this is a week where Biden got COVID, which brought a whole bunch of new coverage to the current Omicron variant, which probably affected shows, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I wish there was a way to tell immediately if you gotten COVID, because I feel like I did a really good job this week as far as I could. Like I was masked the entire time, except when I was on stage. And on stage, I put my like 2 foot tall or whatever, 1.5 foot tall purifier center stage. I had it behind me at Go Bananas because I was so embarrassed that I brought it. And then I was like, fuck it. It's good looking. It's black. It looks slick. It looks like a little speaker, right?
Yeah.
And so I put it right in front of me. I stood right behind it. It was blowing up my shirt and like the Marilyn Monroe thing a little bit. And I was like, this is the best I can do.
Mm-hmm.
And I have my little portable purifier next to me too. And I was like, hopefully I'm just getting clean air, and the vaccines are, well, all 4 of them are doing their job and stuff. So, but I feel like, if I got it this week, there's no way to avoid it as a comic then, unless you're not doing shows.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right. I mean, if you get it, you're doing everything right. That would be weird. So I am not doing everything.
We'll see.
So
we'll see. It's I just don't. I just please let me get to Montreal, please. I leave. I like because I'm making a nice little chunk of change, and I really really need it. And I told you guys before we started recording, but I was just put on a incredibly cool show
Yeah,
that I'm
yeah.
so excited about. And I want to bring now. I'm like I want to bring my son because the person I'm on the show with, my son worships and
Uh,
loves,
and you've
but I
never
can't.
met them, right?
Right. I can't get a fucking dog sitter at the moment. And so because the boarding place that I've been using, they're full. Like
Oh, wow.
they can't take any more dogs. And so I'm trying to get an emergency dog sitter, but everyone's working, which is good. Great. Congratulations. But if I can't do that, because I can't leave Charmy alone all day, for like 12 hours. My son's dad could take care of the dog at night, but not during the day. So I would just need a day person, I guess. But anyway, it's just becoming this nightmare. And I'm like, maybe I'll just not worry about it because the last minute ticket
Is also
is
very
also
prohibitive.
prohibitively
And
expensive. But I
you'll
mean,
work
it's a
with that person
memory.
again. You'll
I won't.
work with that person.
No, I'm sure.
One and done. This is the only chance. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Things
And
will never, it'll never happen again.
I'm doing Patton's gala, and Patton is in Sandman, which I know my kids are going to watch 4,000 times, and
Oh, yeah.
all his other stuff. So I was like,
Is he
oh,
playing Dream? Seems unlikely.
I don't know.
He's
Anyway,
not.
I have no idea. I just I was looking at his Instagram. He's at
Sandman was the first thing that was the second thing Andy gave me. And so Andy gave me something little, and just to get like the first Knish is for free. That's a Welcome Back Condo reference. He's like, here's yeah. He's like, here's this top, I think it was top 10,
Yeah.
Alan Moore. And then next thing he hands me is 75 floppies of Sandman. He's like, just try it. And
floppy disk? What's a floppy?
no, floppy individual comics. We have all the individuals.
Oh my God.
And we also, and so every year for five years, I think it was, I bought him the $100 bound with extra art, and it's leather, and except for that nobody ever reads those. He has all, if he wants to reread Sandman, and he does, he'll pull the comics and read that. He's like, I just want to read the Wake. Andy's been in and run, he's been in 4 live action role-playing games of Sandman. And Maria and I did the last one, which was based on the Wake. And we wanted to just watch, and turns out nobody wants you to watch a LARP. First, it's sort of like watching a game of D&D. That's like 6 hours you're never getting back. So
that's why I feel about this description of LARP.
Really?
But go ahead.
Oh,
yeah. It feels like 6 hours I'm never getting back. I'm glad you and Andy found each other because you truly have no other partners.
Fine. Your son will get into LARPing, and then all of a sudden you will be into LARPing. And because right now you'll be dragged into it because you are neck deep in anime, my friend. And yeah.
Well, let's see. So this week, this person I've been writing a pitching or writing a half-hour idea with, we're pitching it to like a big company on Tuesday, and then Wednesday I go to Montreal, and then I have at least 2 really big shows, and then come back on Saturday. I wish I could stay an extra day. They're kicking me out as soon as my show's over. Practically, I have to get off stage from the gala on Friday night and go to the airport.
Huh. That's
I'm
weird.
gonna miss out on all the parties, which I will.
Which you would go to
mass.
anyway.
I would. I'm going to write my name on my mask so people know who I am and they don't have to ask, and just, hobnob as much as I can. There's a lot of, I don't know who's going to be out and about.
Maria's going. She's doing the gala.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Is she hosting?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I think she's just doing it. Yeah. It's,
cool.
I haven't been in a couple of years. It's, that guy, Jeff, he used to book me. Was it Jeff?
Jeff Singer?
Yeah. Wasn't he the one?
Really? No, he books new faces. I think
he did, but I think he got, there was some trouble with him. Some sort of scandal. There was some sort of scandal.
There was
Um,
yeah, he's not there anymore. It's weird.
right. That's
I know him from Tough Crowd, and so
sure you
it's
do.
weird when you know and have a fondness for somebody, and then you hear some stuff, you're like, oh, all right. I have to reshuffle them in my brain, I guess.
Right,
Um,
right. You're yeah, he resigned June of 21.
right. Are
So
you're looking that up?
I just looked that up.
You love your
Um,
accuracy.
who
Uh,
doesn't?
so so this week was really fun. It had very fun comics, you know. So we both turned the same age,
Hmm.
right? Now we're both the same age, right? And now I'm with you. I'm not going to say it. So yesterday there was a comic who's wait he where's the chat? Okay.
Oh,
Um
really?
yeah.
All right. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So
So it's
this
this guy.
person, yeah.
He's a staple, and this is how old he is, right? So he says on
Okay.
stage, he goes, "How old I am?" He said his age, and I thought, well, good for him for still doing comedy and being funny. And then I'm like, wait, he's only 5 years older than me. What the fuck? I'm almost that age. Oh no!
And
Oh my
that
god.
didn't show up in the chat.
Oh, it didn't. Oh, okay.
No,
I have.
no. So,
That's weird. Well,
but
Oh, you
I
okay.
did.
DM'd it to me.
Oh,
Oh,
but
okay.
and I do know that I know how old I am. So 5 years older. I did do that
But
math, and
but the audience clapped for him, and he kind of said it like he was elderly, and and I'm like, I don't know
mhm.
what's it gonna feel like in 5 years when we're still doing stand up and we're that age that people are clapping that we're still standing on our own feet. That's crazy.
Well, it is crazy, but it's because you never know what you look like. You never know how. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't feel how old I am now.
same
Um,
here.
right. So, but I want to do a new bit about when I figured out that I was an adult,
Right.
and because I look around and
Mm-hmm.
I see people in their early 30s who don't know yet that they're the adult in every
Mm.
interaction.
Right, right,
And that's
right.
when I learned. I learned I was about 35, I think, when I learned that I was the adult. And it was,
Yeah.
you know what made me learn it? I pushed a kid down, a 9-year-old. Hi, I was 35. Wasn't that bad. I mean, but for the sake of the joke, it will be. Anyway,
Jackie,
so
I side with you anytime child abuse is involved. I know that you were right.
uh I essentially I whipped a towel at her and I made her I did I put my hand on her shoulder and I was like, clean it up. And and as soon as I applied any force to her shoulder, I was like, oh no, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And I was like, all right. So I didn't babysit for I was doing childcare at the time.
Oh, really?
yeah. And she said, I'm going to tell my mom. And I said, please do. Your mom will be on my side. And because she shook a soda, this kid,
Yeah.
and said, I figured out a way that I shake the soda and it doesn't spray everywhere. And I was like, it's going to spray everywhere. And what I should have said, of course, was, let's do it outside. But I said, it's going to spray everywhere and I'm going to have to clean it up. And she's like, it won't happen. It won't happen. I'm going to get to do it. And I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. She did it, sprayed everywhere. I whipped a towel at her. I put my hand on her shoulder and I had her sit down in it. And I said, clean it
No,
up.
that was proper and right. You were correct. If other babysitters had done that to her, then she wouldn't have gotten in trouble from you. That's what
Right.
I
She would
say.
have known better right away. Right away.
Um,
So
so Chappelle, did he ever pop? He never popped in. I'm assuming you would have
no,
said
no,
something.
it came up, of course. It came up a couple of times. And
Because
like
you're in
what
Minneapolis, and
yeah,
he was working there, and it was a huge week of another week of him trending on Twitter. I swear to God.
poor canceled thing. Poor thing.
Oh my, yeah,
Uh,
and then the shows he did sold out, and the tickets were like 130 each. I mean, it's just like it's why
they
are
were six
people still
hundred
falling
dollars
for this?
on the street. Yeah, they were being scalped for six
No,
hundred. Which of course he doesn't
wow.
get any of that money, and I'm okay with that. But but the weird
Well,
thing is, so
yeah, the
I'm not
economy, the Chappelle economy is pretty impressive.
right. So he had one show at First Ave, mostly
Right.
for cred, mostly for fun, and then he had 4 shows at the Varsity Theater.
Is
who
First
are
Ave
owned by
like the Largo of Minneapolis or something?
yeah, it's where Prince used to
Okay.
go up. It's like it's a band venue.
Oh.
It's like
Okay. Okay.
yeah. So and the Varsity is a theater, and all 5 shows had been sold out. There was some backlash about him, and so First Ave was like, just move all 5 shows to the Varsity
Yeah. Right.
because we don't want you here right now.
Yeah.
And so they moved him to the Varsity. So nothing happens. He just loses his cool kid, gets to do the place where Prince was, right?
Right.
And
Right.
but he doesn't ever show up. And someone in the audience, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, mentioned it in the audience. And so it's such a weird hill for him to die on, this trans thing, him and J.K. Rowling, right? Where
I
you're
know,
like,
it's so crazy.
I swear to God, I get that he's an older guy.
Yeah.
And clearly, all I can assume is that he found himself attracted to a woman who had to transition,
Mhm.
found out that it was a woman who had to transition, and freaked the fuck out instead of just processing it.
Right.
Instead of just saying, I'm actually not attracted to you anymore. It's weird. And I'm sorry I'm not attracted to you. But you know how many guys have told me that they're not attracted to me in my life? And I don't have anything special about me except for an extra 50 pounds, right?
Mhm.
But they're just like, no, I'm not into it, right? And
Yeah.
we all move, I'm sure if you would have just said that to the woman that he was attracted to, she would have been like, all right. It's not like you can sue somebody for not being attracted to you. But you're just like, oh, I thought I liked you. Think about how many people are married for like 35 years and then fucking get divorced. You're like, you get to think you're attracted to somebody and then go, I'm actually not.
Yeah. I don't know, who's attracted to what, but I think it,
But this is
here's
my
the thing.
story that I've written. I'm sorry, but go ahead, tell me.
But no, I'm saying like there's like this comic thing of don't tell me what I can't talk about, right? And you get
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
everyone, no matter what the point of view you're coming from, you get that don't you tell me. And so you have to decide for yourself what you're going to talk about it, but it's just so it's so it's so wild to me that he's so obstinate about this, and and he's not seeing the damage it's doing to his reputation of all of his previous work,
And
that
his
was
fan base.
so
Yeah.
subtle and funny and sharp, and he's sort of
but-
going down as kind of like a troll. It's like, oh no, don't, I don't,
Well,
whatever.
it is. And here's the thing about Chappelle's stuff, and I have not seen all of it. And some people are huge fans, so they've seen a lot more of it than I have. I've
Mhm.
seen a lot of his sort of the clips that surf the internet, and it's the stuff that I think is kind of genius, the Mona
Yeah.
Lisas of his act, shall we say, as he
Yeah.
would put it, are racial
yeah.
are usually the
It's about
insightful
race.
racial stuff, right?
Mhm.
His stuff about women has always been a bit of a shit show.
Well,
that
yeah.
I've
I
seen.
mean, no offense, Kyle. Most male comics,
Well,
Kyle accepted.
right. Well,
Yeah.
and the thing is, I mean, you're writing this amazingly nuanced, biting, super like overarching, awesome jokes about race, and then you're like,
Yeah.
bitches, man, what are you gonna do? And
yes, I know. It drives me insane. It's
So-
always
so yeah, so I guess I'm not surprised. So I'm going to talk about this, and
Okay.
I'm never going to get the name of that guy that opened for you. By the way, you're going to leave it as a DM to Kyle.
Oh, okay. No, he
so-
was very funny,
but-
and I just
threw it in
Sam
the chat
Adams.
for you.
Thank
Yeah,
you very
Sam
much.
Adams, and he's
Okay.
like
Oh.
he's a Denver guy, super funny.
He's a
but
Denver guy
he-
who's been around for a long time.
But-
yeah, and
but
very
again, like he's only 5 years older than us, but he said his name on stage like it was an incredible feat that he
right.
shown up. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna whatever. I'm like, oh, that'll be me in 5 years.
You stopped. You're like, wait, why am I?
Wait a minute.
Right. So you got this email too, right? From this this cable company that wants to from these people that want to do a documentary about
right. I
about
think,
what's happened. How
yeah.
how has
About-
the industry changed cancel culture and
It's
since
Louis
CK and
based,
so
right?
yeah, it's Louis
Yeah.
based
A
and
documentary on comedy.
right. And I wrote back and I said, could you please interview Bill Burr? Could you please interview Tom Segura or Bert Kreischer or Pete Lee, anybody that isn't me? Right? Can you please get like these very successful men who get to work many clubs I do not work and won't take a financial hit by being on this?
Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and she wrote me back and she said, well, would you be willing to speak off the record, like a phone call? And I was like, sure. And because I have stated my opinion about all this, the canceling, the only repercussion that any of these guys, whether it's Jeff Ross or D'Elia or TJ Miller and CK
Brian
himself, or
Callen, yeah,
Brian Callen and all the Joe Rogan, all these guys, the only thing, and Joe Rogan's just a weird,
he's not,
but yeah,
not an assaulter, right?
Right. He seems to just be super weirdly
Just a
Nazi.
talker.
And yeah. And so, but the what I said, the only real repercussions, of course, are their fan base has changed. And because Louis C.
Okay, we're gonna take a break. We lost Jackie for a second. She's back, but we're almost at 30, so we're gonna take a quick break, and then we'll be back with our heated discussion.
And the comic of the week.
Oh, our comic of the week. So funny. You sent her Instagram over, and I went and watched some stuff. She was on Netflix as a joke. Nataly Aukar.
Nataly Aukar.
A-U-K-U-R.
Yeah. And I heard about her through the guy who featured for me this week at Acme, Mo. And what the heck was Mo's last name? Anyway, he's a dude. He can't be a comic.
Who cares? Yeah. What if the men just don't have last names on our show anymore?
That's funny.
We have to dehumanize them as much as possible.
Kyle.
I'm already there. You got to get more successful comedians on this list.
Kyle Clark. Anyway, so Kyle Clark is red. So the
what's her
oh yeah, so what's her
Twitter?
Instagram again? It's Nataly Nataley, if I remember correctly,
no,
right? Nataly
Nataly.
Okay.
Aukar.
You are.
But like Scott Aukerman.
No, it's AR. It's not UR. It's AUKAR.
Okay.
Yeah, and she's really smart. She's really funny, and she's got a Netflix credit, which is always nice. And everybody should book and follow and watch her stand-up comedy because it's a delight.
Yeah. Okay, so go ahead. So the documentarian. Here's the thing: documentarians, they're really good at getting more from you than you wanted to give. That's my thing about talking off the record. I'm not going to stop talking. And then, hey, do you mind if we record this? Just as one little soundbite. Oh, okay. And then all of a sudden you're fucking front and center and you're on a clip and you're never working a comedy again.
Right. Well, and I will say that at the end of it, she was like, I'm just going to ask just one more time if you'd be willing to say any of this on camera. It'd be so great. And so what I said to her was, if you could get them, this large cable company you work for, to give me a special, I'll do it.
Yeah. I want to
and then guess what? I'll never hear from her again.
I don't want to be on a TV network complaining about comedy. I want to be complaining in comedy about everything else in my life on a special. That's God, Jackie, pound that water. Did you just drink an entire bottle all by yourself right then?
I have a drinking problem. A lot of people don't know this about me, but I have a drinking problem.
Okay.
So,
yeah, and the stuff that the documentarian has worked on is great. She's really great at her job. But what they are actually good at, and same with reporters, is getting you to say stuff that you don't want to say. That's their whole job, is teasing it out of reluctant people. And you have to watch out for yourself. The worse it's going to be for your career, the better it is for their documentary.
Right. I always think about poor Orny Adams in that comedian documentary.
Right.
Because he was vilified. He was made the bad guy of that thing. And And then I remember watching that documentary and hearing his sound bites and going, what is with this guy? He's kind of a tool. He's kind of a mess. And then seeing his stand up and going, he's a really good comic. What are they doing to him? Yeah, perfectly good comic, right? And but the way he talked off stage or the way they cut it made me think that he was not going to be as interesting a comic as he was on stage. So
Well,
I'm
also-
happy for him. Yes.
Yeah, but they
He's
got
a
him in
good
that
comic.
weird time where you're like you got Montreal, so you think, oh my God, I'm finally the train's finally pulling out of the station and I'm going to be famous. That's where they caught him. We've all been at that place where you think it's all going to happen, you know. And thank God none of my thoughts were recorded for posterity at that time. Yeah,
Right.
but yeah, Orny's doing okay. He's at the Improv every weekend, so he's getting his spots in. He's doing fine.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, no, he's fine. But I always think about that is that they got him to say things.
Right.
That,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you'll talk for like an hour and then you're tired and your guard is down. And then at minute 61 is whatever you say is the only clip that shows up.
Right. I thought we would talk for about 15 minutes. We talked for 45 minutes.
She's good.
Yeah.
She's fucking
She's
good.
Yeah, she's fucking
Okay.
good. So
Yeah.
if she gets back with me and I end up having a special, that'll be good for my career. And you know, I think about all the sort of the younger comics who don't get into the clubs and then just sort of create their own careers anyway, right? Who play all the all the sort of the one-nightery things and then and then get to open up for bigger names. I was just asking you about Amy Miller, who's a great comic, but she opens for Segura. And
like
Segura
in theaters,
is
right? Or is he playing stadium? It seems like something
it
in
was
the
a
round.
big
What was
theater. It was a big theater that last clip of hers that I saw. So here's a weird thing about doing 5. I did Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I did 6 shows. My voice is scratchy. And so all I can think is I have COVID. So, but I did 6 shows. And last night's second show, there was drama.
Tell.
I did, for the first time ever, I did the thing that I've been threatening to do ever since that lawsuit, which is if it gets ugly, I walked off.
Oh, tell me what happened. What?
So second show, Saturday. It was very much a second show Friday kind of thing. There was a giant pack of bachelorette girls, women in middle center, right? And then there were 3 two-tops that I did not know were related. And so they were, and the second show starts at 9:30 now. There's no reason you should be hammered. Why are you hammered? Right. And so so I get out there and there was one of the tables, there was a guy there and he was wearing like a blue line shirt.
A blue line?
The thin blue line, thin blue line.
The police, the flag with the blue line in place. Oh God.
And so I just said to him, that shirt is ridiculous. We have a flag. And
Jackie.
What?
All right. No, I know. I mean, did you start it or did he start it?
No, this wasn't the guy who was kicked out.
Oh, okay.
So, but it was weird kind of from the beginning because then I couldn't really go into my act. And if someone's wearing that shirt, I'm going to be thinking, well, conceal and carry exists. Is he going to pull out a gun and murder me? And so, but I got him back with this old Minnesota snowmobile joke that he had personified. And so I got him, I even got his wife, who they were a caricature couple. They were cute in that sort of alt-right kind of dumb way. And
where she gets all of her self-esteem by being married to this guy,
right? She's wearing sort of a ripped up dress that's off the shoulder and kind of up high on her thighs, and you're like, okay, and she's kind of lying all over the chair, and and next to her is another couple. It's some haircut and his wife, and then
Mhm.
behind them is another couple where there's a woman dressed kind of like a dragonfly. She's wearing a lot of
Mhm.
different layers,
A
and then
dragonfly. Oh,
just a lot, just a lot of,
yeah.
and then she's with a dude who, and I didn't know all three of these tables were together. So
Ah,
the I tell the snowmobile joke. I sort of get the blue line ding dong back into the fold, um, and the snowmobile joke has booze talk in it, right? And
yeah.
so the couple in the back, the woman, the dragonfly lady, she she is like, oh, and I had forgotten my soda backstage. So the whole thing was sort of a little messy. The bachelorette party was loud. These people were loud and weird. I had forgotten my soda backstage, and so this woman, the woman who was with them, who dressed like a dragonfly, offered me her beer, which led me to tell
No, no.
the stories of my 2 DUIs. And so I just told those old bits that aren't on anything. And
That's
then,
way to cozy up to the late show crowd.
well, feel free to take a cab, you guys. So call a lift if you think you're going to get pulled over. And um, and then, but the three couples, the 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 haircut and the blonde woman in the front, she keeps leaning over and talking at this level to him, and they're in the
Oh,
very
wow.
front row, and I'm like, you gotta zip it. All right, you're a little loud. You're a little loud. Could you not talk? And so finally I said, could you not talk? And she goes, no, I'm okay. And so she's drunk, and I'm like,
Right.
actually it's really distracting. If you could not, that'd be awesome. And she's like, no, I could I'm okay.
Mhm.
And and so the third time I was like, seriously, you have to shut the fuck up. And she's like, no, I can do this. And I said, actually, you can't. You got to go. I think you got to head out. And so I was like, I'm just gonna go in the back in the green room, get my soda, and I'll come back out when she's gone. Which I have seen.
Wow.
I've seen a handful of men do it. I've never had the guts to do it.
Oh my God. So was the rest of the crowd behind you?
John DeBoer took a video because I wasn't out for, and it took like 30, 45 seconds. This is the awesome thing about Acme. One of the managers came over to the table, I guess, and just leaned in and he said, I think that was your cue to leave.
Wow.
And so she gets up and leaves, and the other two go. The other two tables that were with her, Blue Line and the Dragonfly,
Yeah.
they get up and they all head out.
Oh,
And I
okay.
guess, yeah. So those 6 people leave, and
Right.
the staff was like, we were this close to kicking the bachelorette party out. We're so sorry we missed the other loud people.
So did the bachelorettes go, oh, this shit got real and just
Yeah,
clamped
yeah,
down?
yeah. And John DeBoer was in the audience, and so he films the audience in the 30 seconds that I'm
Yeah.
backstage. And
Yeah.
he tells me about it after the show, Johnny. And I was like, were they tense? Were they mad at me? And he's like, no, it was an enormously respectful silence. And after the show, everybody was like, good work. That was perfect. And I came back
Cool.
out to a big applause. And then I made it weird just because I'd never done it before, and I'd
Yeah.
had a hard time getting into my new material. So I went so deep into the vault, Laurie. I was like, just do your time. Just do your time.
Yeah.
And
Right, right, right.
so I just went into the vault and I did a bunch of, I did some new stuff. I did some staycation stuff. I got to, oh, by the way, I sold out of my merch, and I'm off to Denver. So Andy's got to mail me
Oh, he's
merch.
got to mail it to you. I ran out of
Yeah.
books on the Friday first show.
Mhm.
So I could have brought two more 100 pounds of books. They're so fucking heavy, Jackie. I can't tell you.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah,
And
it's
I'm not having Andy send me any shirts just because he's not going to be able to sort of do it like I would do it. So he's going to send me 60 CDs, DVDs, because
that's all you're gonna sell at Denver is DVDs and CDs.
I sold out
Okay.
of all the CDs and DVDs I brought.
What?
because the pitch
That's
is that
yeah.
they're not playing them anymore. All you have to do is find the device.
Um,
And so,
I'm still shocked that pitch works, but I'm happy
Yeah.
for you. That's
yeah,
great.
it's weird that it works, but yeah. And it'd be great if you could
Huh.
find some stickers, but I think they're buried. I don't know. We'll see. But
I need some free stickers to have just in case people don't buy books, you know, to whatever.
yeah. Well, do you have any more Jackie and Laurie's?
Yeah, they're somewhere around. Yeah, I gotta
you
get
gotta
better
bring
with
those.
just packing that stuff.
Yeah.
Jackie, I brought 2 giant purifiers, and then I realized
That's-
I only just need the one on stage. So I have 3 suitcases. I'm going on Southwest, so it's okay. But like, I had so much stuff. Oh my god, I forgot to. Did we talk about my Tuesday, Wednesday? We didn't, right?
No.
Okay.
Oh, right.
So I was someone who books a room in Vale tagged on a date, you know, and the whole thing. Wendy at the Comedy Awards was like, okay, you can do it, but you can't advertise that it's you, right? So he just said
Yeah.
it's a show with a secret headliner, and it's sold out anyway, right?
Right.
And it's in Vale, so it's like 100 miles away from Denver. So he picks me up at the airport on Tuesday. I get in early, and the pitch to me is, you know, you get a little extra money, and you have a day in Vale because the show's Wednesday night, all Wednesday in Vale. I'm like, I'm gonna go on a gondola or a ski lift or whatever, and just, you know, look at the mountains. It'll be beautiful. So he picks me up. We're driving back. We stop for gas in the middle of fucking nowhere. Okay. And I get out of the car and I lock the door, as anyone would, I might add, who's worried. Okay. But
All of your stuff is in the car.
sure, right?
Of course, you
But-
locked the car. Yeah.
Okay. So his keys were in the car. So I locked the keys in the car. So
Oh, no.
now we have to call AAA. But
Yeah, you
his
do.
phone's also in the car. I luckily don't walk one step without my phone. So I had
Right.
my phone, but I had like
Attached.
very little battery. So I had to buy cords and charger in the Sinclair Mini Mart, and then plug it in outside. So we call AAA we start calling AAA and his USAA is my towing service.
Yep.
And then just individual towing and mechanics and garages nearby. And when I say nearby, within 50 miles. Okay.
Oh.
So it takes 2 hours, and someone comes and then not only does it take 2 hours, 2 services come at once at the exact same time 2 hours later.
2 hours.
Yes.
Of course,
okay?
2 hours, 50 miles. Oh my God, they both
Yeah,
show up at the same
Okay.
time.
So yeah. So then so that we get back in the car and drive. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm mortified, right? I also, this is already now it's a long Tuesday, but check in. I'm in a resort. It's nice. I'm a resort in Vale. And then we go have dinner. I buy dinner, you know, out of guilt, right?
Right. It's guilty throwing cash. Yes.
Okay. Yes. So I get a big hamburger, and it's delicious. And then I go back to my room, and something's not feeling right in my tummy, right? And the altitude started getting to me, and I have a terrible headache. Okay. Now there's no mini marts nearby. It's Vale. Vale's a weird town. Everything closes. They probably don't want a 7-Eleven because they don't want the people it would attract. Like, there's nothing handy about it. Okay.
No,
And
not
I'm
at
not
all.
feeling
This
good.
is
I'm
quite a
up
big
till
deal.
4, 5 in the morning. Now I know I'm not going to have a day in Vale because I'm up till 5 in the morning. So if I get my 8 hours sleep, I'm going to be awake I'm not going to wake up till the afternoon. If I get 4 hours sleep, I'm going to feel like shit the whole time. Finally
Yeah.
fall asleep, get a couple hours. What wakes me up? The feeling that I'm going to vomit. Okay. I spent all day Wednesday throwing up. I couldn't keep anything down, not even water, which they tell you to pound all the time because you have to hydrate yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know if I can even do the show. And I've never, ever felt like this. But I was like,
Right.
I can't be throwing up on stage. That anything else I can cover.
Oh
up,
no.
but
No, they would.
no.
They,
Yeah.
yeah, that
I
would.
can do it bleeding. I can stem bleeding. I'll put gauze on something, but you can't be vomiting on stage.
Oh my God.
So all day long, and I call the hotel, like I call the front desk. I'm like, where's the vending machines? I'm like, I just need a Sprite, like something bubbly, and maybe those shitty crackers that they always
Yeah,
sell. And
saltines
then
or
he's like,
something.
yes. He goes, we don't have vending machines. I'm like, what the fuck? Every shitty hotel I've ever been at has 2-year-old food and 15-year-old Sprites in the fucking vending machine.
Right, there should be,
So
or
then I
and they didn't have a closet store.
nothing. So then
Oh,
I
that's
call, then
weird.
I text the comic at Mark and I go, I'm so sorry, but can you get me some saltines and 7-Up? I'm just dying over here.
Yeah,
So he
yeah.
does. I eat, that comes up. I'm like, oh my fucking God. So it's hours before showtime. And then I feel like my stomach got it all out, whatever it is, and it was settled, right? Oh, and then I
Yeah.
was like, fuck, what am I had COVID. I mean, it felt for sure 100% related to the hamburger and the
Hmm.
altitude. It was all
Right.
very, so then I just called the pharmacy, it was a 15-minute walk. And even then I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do this because I can barely walk to the door of the hotel room. And
Ooh.
I go, do you guys have COVID tests there? She goes, yeah, they're $36. I'm like, oh, you know what? Fuck it. If I have COVID, everyone's going down because I'm not spending $36 on a fucking test. But
That's
so did the show, felt okay at the show, felt weak from being sick all day, but didn't feel like I was in danger of actually vomiting. And I think that the show
I can't
adrenaline
believe you
took
did it.
over.
I mean, I think we've all, but you were just like, just power through. I've already caused this guy enough terribles.
Yes, that's the other thing. I'm like, I can't, after everything I've done to this gig, I can't not show up, right? Especially because
Right.
he sold it out without saying who was the headliner. Like, that's really
Right.
fucking hard to do, right?
Yeah, he's a great
Um,
promoter. He
yes,
came to my show, by the way.
I
He
know,
came
I
to
saw it, yeah.
Minneapolis days later. Weird. It's awesome.
But so yeah, so that was, the show ended up being okay. Like, I didn't feel on my full strength. But then when I headed to Denver, the next day he drove me to Denver to the condo. I felt that whatever, because I remember you saying that you felt weak your first night on stage at Denver, and I thought, well, at least I probably got that over with,
Yeah.
and now I'm coming down. I'm descending in altitude from Vail to Denver, so my body was actually felt better, a lot better, and I
Oh,
didn't
good.
feel any weakness the rest of the week here.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Did you
Oh
end up
my
using
God,
any
though.
of those sort of oxygen cans of air?
I did, but someone told me it was pointless. An actual resident of Vale, because I was like sucking on some oxygen, and she's like, "You need one of those canolas or canalas. I forget, but it's the thing elderly people have just shoved up their nose with a tank, which
Oh,
I'm assuming I'll be wearing in 5 years when I step up
on
on stage.
stage, and then you'll get the applause break you deserve. But I
Yes,
will. If you have any, leave a couple of cans for me because I
I
actually
don't
like
have
that
any.
stuff. Okay, I'm
I
gonna get
don't.
some when I get
Here's
there
what
on
I'm leaving
Wednesday.
you. I'm leaving you Kerrygold butter, okay? And I went in with a clean knife. It's not been touched by human fingers, okay? Even though it's
I don't
exposed,
know.
you
I
might.
don't know that they will leave it. You know how
I'm
sometimes they
gonna leave
clean
a
it out.
note. I'm gonna leave a
Say,
note.
Jackie's here. She trusts me. That's what you should.
Yes,
Right.
I will. And I will. There's no coffee here, but I bought hazelnut coffee at Sprouts. But if you don't like hazelnut, I'm not leaving it for you because I love it. Should I
Take
leave
it.
it for you?
Take it.
Why don't
They
you
have.
like it? It's good.
Well, they usually have Folgers. And by the way, I think we're like
No.
10 minutes late for the second break.
Okay,
So
take it.
let's take a second break. And here's what I like. I like Vietnamese coffee. I like
Okay.
um Batista, the one named after the rock. No, I have no idea what it's. I forget what it's yellow. It comes in a can. It says espresso on it.
Okay.
I like any number of coffee. You can leave the hazelnut for me. I'll do it. I'll drink it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't drink it all, please bring it back,
Right, because
and then I'll finish it.
you almost spent $36 on something. But you can also take it with you because I don't eat at that Greek place. I walk a little bit further, and plus
Ooh,
I take lifts. Um,
yeah.
Plus the
I hope
food at the kitchen at the Comedy Works,
at
which
Lucy's.
yeah, Lucy's. They used to serve breakfast, and they will again one day. But
Okay.
I sometimes I go to the grocery store and then I just have like cereal or
Yeah.
and I
Somebody
just
else. somebody else left Canadian Farms cereal, cold cereal here. So if
Okay.
you just get milk, you're okay. But
Yeah.
yeah, shoot, what was I gonna say? Oh well, I forget. Oh, the Greek place, Yanni's,
Yeah.
awful,
It's
and
terrible.
so
It's not
expensive.
good.
It was the
Right.
worst chicken. It was revolting. I'm like,
Right.
it made me never want to eat chicken again. And so yeah,
Oh.
skip it.
Oh. Wow. That's there's injustice there.
Yeah.
Um.
How much time have we done, Kyle?
We've got about 7 minutes left.
Okay.
Okay. So
I'm gonna go. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead.
They have a good gym down here at this condo. This is like
Yeah.
a luxury condo. I'm like, oh, I could live here. I see how people get into this. Very
Oh
nice.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's
So the gym has like this cool Nautilus machine with a lot of pulleys, and there's hardly anyone in it ever.
Mhm.
So I was able to just sort of play around with it. Usually at the gym near my house, there's always like, 300 people crowded around these machines, and they're all really good at it. So you don't feel like you could even fuck around and try something
Right.
without them looking at you like your form sucks. But no one's here. So I was
Right.
just messing around. So I'm going to go
Mhm.
do that before my flight takes off. I have
Did
a
you
2
go
p.m.
into that pool that you can see from the balcony ever? Have you gone down
No,
to that level?
no. I
No.
brought my suit, but in case I was going to lap swim, but I just let go of that dream for this
For this particular week.
for
Yeah.
this trip. Yeah. Mhm.
And I am going to Milwaukee later today. I
Mhm.
have hung out with so many people on this trip to Minneapolis. Everyone except for my brothers. My brother Phil is in Minnesota or Montana
Mhm.
rather, and my brother Scott has not contacted me, even though I posted, "Hey, I'm coming," and but I hung out with my sister a little bit, and then I hung out with my old roommate, and I hung out. I'm gonna go walk around Lake Harriet today with a friend of mine that I used to work with. His wife was my hairdresser, so they're friends. I don't know why you
Oh,
had to
neat.
go on that journey, but and then Mike Kaplan's here next week at the
Ah,
Acme. Yeah,
cool. I love Mike
that's
Kaplan. He's great.
yeah, and Chell's gonna headline the Wednesday because I guess Mike's not coming in until Thursday. So
Oh,
yeah,
Chell's
do you know
Chell's.
Is Chell's last name Bjorn? What the fuck is Chell's last name? He's a
You know
Minneapolis
what?
comic. Yeah,
Men don't have last names. Men
that's
don't have
right.
last
It's
names.
just Chell. Yeah. So it's very sweet. He kind of
That
reminds me
sounds
a little
cool.
bit of Chris Fairbanks. So
Oh my God.
yeah,
I'm Chris
yeah.
Fairbanks.
So he has a
Uh,
last name.
yes. You know why? Because he's working on my poster. So
Right.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
If
so
anybody has an idea for a Jackie and Laurie t-shirt, feel free to send it to Jackie at JackieKation.com. So
Jackie, don't ask for free work from our fans.
I'll pay them in postmortem. What? That got weird. I'll pay
We'll
them
give
after
you
the.
we'll give you a T-shirt of your art.
No, Jenny Fine came to my show last night, first show.
Yeah.
And she did most of it. She did the art for the Horcrux album. She did the art for my dad's shirt where she drew the picture of my dad. And it's so funny because my dad has seen the dad shirt and the coin, the challenge
Yeah.
coin with this picture. And he always says, since I got that cataract surgery, I'm not wearing glasses anymore. You could redo the art. And so Jenny Fine comes up to me after the show and she's like, "Do you want me to redo the art? I can redo the art." And I'm like, no, Jenny Fine. You have a life
Your
to
dad
live.
is 83 and he's not wearing glasses?
85,
even,
yeah.
How come we're wearing glasses and your 85-year-old dad isn't? What's happening?
Because he has got the VA by the short hairs and he's got them doing all kinds of things for him. So good for him.
There was just another week. This is just another week on Twitter where like trending on Twitter was Dave Chappelle and Jimmy Dore. And I'm telling you, only male
really?
comics trend on Twitter. And it's only because everyone's angry at them,
Right. It's never for
justified
good
or
reasons.
not. Yeah.
Yeah.
But female comics almost never trend on Twitter
I think
unless
Tiffany Haddish, people were mad at her for a second. Sarah
I guess
Silverman
it is.
sometimes. They're
I
angry.
guess, and Amy Schumer too. I guess it is
Yeah.
when people are angry at them. But
Right.
you know what? Fucking get angry at us. We're assholes. We're fucking assholes. Get angry at us and make us trend on Twitter so we can sell more
I'm
tickets.
I'm telling that Mace story on stage, and the
Yeah.
laugh I get at the line of when the guy says, "You seem nice," and I'm like, "That's an illusion." And it's I was like, "I will. Let's do this. Let's."
Jackie, what if you sell Cation? What do you call it? What if you call it Cation? Cation mace, and you sell it after the show.
um, because I don't want to travel with a case full of mace.
Why not? We're gonna need it now. Everyone's carrying, as you said. We should have mace on our pockets. We should have like little holsters.
Yeah, when
on
you get rid of
stage.
your purse-sized purifier, you can replace it with just a can, just a stack of just weapons.
Jackie, I have
And
so much stuff to bring on stage now. I
know.
have my purse purifier. I have a book if I'm selling. I have
Mhm.
my iPhone to record, and water. It's like I'm carrying. I need a tray to bring out all of my items to put on the stool.
You
It's
need
a
a
lot.
separate table. This is so Robert Jenkins was one of the people who told me I should get a gun. And
Yeah.
I was like, no. So many reasons.
To carry
And
on the road, you can't do that. You can't bring a gun on a plane.
you can put it in your checked luggage if you
Oh,
have right. I'm not getting a gun.
no,
But
no.
so he was like, well, then get this flashlight. And so this
Ooh, I like it.
flashlight is incredibly powerful. First of all, it is
Yeah.
also, it has the heft of of like a roll of quarters. And
Okay.
so he's like, shine it in their face and then run. And I'm like, that's always what I want to do. Run.
You want to give a robber the light.